Hello, you beautiful people out there, and welcome to the Banner Gaming's Ahead of the Curve. We're talking about Heroes Patch 16.1. This is Game of Subics.
I'm Naomi.
And my name is Wisdom. This week we have got a whole pile of hero changes for you, as well as some minor interesting art fixes.
So, Falstead. Now, I believe I am not a big Falstead player. Are you? No. So
I've watched him pick off bosses before, and that's pretty amusing. But
yeah, I mean, I have my fear of Falstead. Like I can't pop off to him too much. So they changed his boomerang talent to increase his damage, and they increased his Hinterlands Blast talent damage, which is the one that I guess throws you all back. But developer says that we're seeing players run a basic attack build, so they want a mage type build to be, an actual thing that people can pick. So they're buffing some other talents that I guess are not picked as much. Going into Jaina, this I like. The basic attack damage has been reduced from 89 to 60, so essentially she's not doing anything with her basic attack. Her Frostbolt, though, has been increased by 30 damage, scaling up 4% a level, and her coldness, her germs that she spread, has been slightly increased. But the increase isn't a lot, 189 to 200.
That's more than the nerf to her auto damage. I don't like this, and I'll tell you why.
The nerf to her auto damage is...
Look, I'm not going to do math
29. That's 11.
Yeah. So the nerf is bigger to her basic attack damage than it is to her Cone of Cold. Either way, I am not a fan of these changes because it makes her way more ability dependent and less positioning and skill dependent. Because if you can just stand there and hit your buttons, when they're off cooldown, then that is, it puts a little bit more skill into her skill shot, but it also means that you don't, you can run in circles while your abilities are on cooldown and not really be playing any more poorly.
I actually completely disagree. The developers do say that they're trying to pull the basic attack damage out of characters who don't rely upon it. With Jaina not having a lot of basic attack damage, she is going to rely more heavily on her skill shots than ever. So if she misses her skill shot, she can't try to chase somebody and auto-attack him with as much success. So actually, I think it brings more importance to her skill shotting instead of just letting the skill shotting do all the damage. I think it makes sense because you shouldn't be able to finish somebody, do big damage as a caster when you're not using magic. And
well, having her stand there and just dump into a team fight, basically hit all of her buttons, dump all of her damage into the middle of a team fight, and then just stand there and wait for her buttons to be up isn't something I like, because in my mind, as long as you get all of that damage into the team fight, then your position doesn't matter. You can go run wherever you want, those kinds of things. So
yeah, but team fights don't always happen though, just like that. Like you have to find your right position, find your Cone of Cold, like your frost.
And I think
you can't hit the tank.
From that.
Well, I actually disagree, but nevertheless, let us know what you think in the comments. I think it makes sense. Wisdom doesn't.
You guys remind me of the two guys in Samurai Champloo, where you guys have this. Have you ever watched them? Oh,
it's great.
You kind of even look like the guy in it, actually. And I kept thinking that...
You're Gene and I'm Lugan.
I kept thinking... he kept reminding me of you. If any of our listeners, watchers, are seeing this, tell us in the comments below if Wisdom reminds you of Gene. Come on.
Yes. That's who we are.
And they constantly argue, and they always want to fight each other, and they always want to duel, and they're almost killing each other half the time, but they love each other deep down inside.
Moving on to KT, in a similar pattern, his auto damage has been nerfed, as has the stun on gravity lapse. Furthermore, Phoenix has been nerfed, the cooldown has been dramatically increased up to 60 seconds, and Pyroblast has been buffed. So we're seeing a sort of rebalancing of the abilities.
He got whacked with a stick hard. So I gotta test him, but so his shield also, the one that's the most picked shield, has been decreased by 50%, and the duration has been decreased by 2 seconds. So he's losing a bunch of his shield. He's losing his stun. His Phoenix, which he used to you could pop off creeps with that and still be able to have it for a team fight without sweating about it. And that's no longer the case. So, I mean, he got bent over with a Nerf bat, man. Oh, man. So, the thing that interests me the most out of all this, though, is Pyroblast. So, Pyroblast, not only is the damage increased from 730 to 810, but the scaling has been increased. Instead of plus 4% per level, it's plus 5% per level. So, like Goku doing the Spirit Bomb, Frieza actually got up from that. I don't think Frieza would get up from this one. I remember the Pyro Blast being a pretty strong move as it was. Now, I think this is actually balanced. I think this is a hard decision. Do I want to pop somebody hard, or do I want to put a Phoenix down? I mean, the cooldown, though, was increased from 50 to 100 seconds, but it's totally worth it if you get that kill. I mean, I had plenty where they almost got away. They just got away from my Pyroblast. So many, just barely.
I think it's still going to be map dependent. I don't think that you're going to end up taking something like Pyroblast on Sky Temple, things like that, where you want the area denial that you're going to get from Phoenix. But I do like having.
Well, can't every map have,
options.
besides the seeds, is pretty much aerial denial, right? You got the towers, which you got to capture. You got the infernal shrines, which you got all the minions to kill. Then you got the temples to cap. I mean, everything but the seeds is really Phoenix worthy, if I'm not mistaken.
If we ever get mines back, and well, I guess there's some of that on Infernals, but I think on Infernals you really do have to make the choice of, do I want the damage on mine, or do I want to defend? Because on Infernals you can't, like, even if you deny them the space, you can still have a healer heal through that and have them continue to beat on your Immortal. So
I always found it, though, like, when the Immortals were at their second half, if I threw it down, like, you could really do some damage. I'm actually, after this episode, I'm going to test KT and this Pyroblast, because I think I am going to blow people up, and it's going to be awesome. I'm not liking the shield, so I might be severely questioning whether I take the shield or not, or some other talents. The gravity lapse, honestly, 1 second, I just got to be a little bit faster. But I might be using my spears to power up some more other moves instead of the lapse, depending on how it goes. I mean, still 1 second, possibly at best, taking 3 of their heroes out of the combat is still pretty damn good. But it's you definitely got to be faster and a little bit more predictive of where that person might move. I'm going to see how that works.
He will take some playing to get used to, but let's move on. We see that Nova has got some buffs that we have been calling for here. So her snipe damage is up, as is the snipe master talent. It now scales twice as quickly, and will give you 10% more damage than it would before. So it only takes 5 kills rather than 10, and so it won't be as punishing if you die with it. I do think that that's interesting and needed. I don't know how that'll play, though.
Well, and I think the biggest thing, if I read the comments right, is that they are your snipe now. If you hit a minion, it doesn't reset like before you had to hit a hero. It says, we like Snipe Master and encourages a different playstyle, but a single snipe miss resets a ton of progress towards the talent's rewards. With these changes, players will get more out of Snipe Master without having to rebuild so many stacks after a miss. We heard a lot of community feedback and suggestions about removing stacks as long as your snipe hits something. We've decided this, but feel even if snipe misses the intended target, it still hits something the majority of the time. Also, they denied that, excuse me. But so they pretty much, so they buffed the talent, lowered the stacks, and made it less of a...
So you have to hit heroes. It makes it...
You still have to hit heroes, but they made it quicker to build back up and less punishing.
And Thrall sees a bit of a nerf in his auto damage, and Sunder has it 10 seconds slapped on top of its cooldown, which is a tiny nerf to try and bring down his win rate in ranked play, which I hope accomplishes their goal. I like that they're using a fine touch instead of just bringing down the nerf bat.
Like
which, I mean, I don't play Thrall, but I like being able to see a nuanced approach to balancing in any aspect. And if it's not enough, I anticipate that next week or the next couple of weeks we're going to see another round of minor nerfs, minor buffs, those kinds of things, because it is frustrating to be coming from a game where it feels like you either get nerfed 20% too much or buffed 20% too much, and you really have to sort of play in the gaps there. So it's nice to see that the Heroes team is taking a gentler approach. Our final.
I actually agree with you on that. It's surprising. My only addition to that comment would be, I really wish that when I went on Hot Slugs or something, I really wish when I was playing a new hero, I didn't have to go to Hot Slugs. I wish they would make every talent for every hero an actual viable option. And I know that's asking too much, but there is way too. I would have to guess 70% of heroes where the options are maybe 80, like just dead clear. More than 70% of people pick this, this trait on Hero League X or higher, and I wish they just made it where instead of taking the time to remove traits, add traits, which I'm glad they're doing the balance, I wish they would take the time to make every trait an actual choice. And you got to pick what's right for you instead of this is clearly the best way to go.
I like having some of those awkward, or at the very least, two distinctly different paths to follow. Like, you can build Butcher a couple different ways, but I think Lily is one of the best examples of this, where it may not be the most effective, but you can build for a lot of damage or a lot of healing, and you're picking basically two exclusively different sets of talents, depending on which one you're going for. And you are permitted to disagree. But I will hear none of it. And I think that it's kind of nice to be able to, at least in the talents, when you're queuing in and stuff like that, just be able to glance through and just sort of see, okay, I can build for a lot of throughput or a lot of damage on one ability. I can buff my W or my Q. I can
it's
buff.
It's kind of like making a pack of cards for Hearthstone. You get to choose kind of how you're going to approach the game and win the game.
And I feel like there's not a lot of choice. I mean, Monk's a great example. I was super excited for Monks. And I love playing the Monk. He's one of my favorite. But even if we have a healer, I'm still picking the healing trait. Like,
he looks like my brother.
I mean, Naomi, tell him, how many games did I play with Monk where I had more damage than some of the DPS and still out-healed the other actual, real, dedicated healer?
We just had one, last night.
I use 7-sided strike, so I don't use the status for saving death. And I talent into the getting the heal twice for your 2 and whatnot. But there's no choice. I wish they would make the damage for the fist be worth losing the healing, but it's not. It's just not. And I wish that they would do that. And I don't want to get on a tangent because that could be a whole other topic. But moving on to Rhaegar, I saw this coming a little bit. When Rhaegar can turn into a wolf instead of a mount on command, and the first attack he does, he lunges and does an attack bonus to the hero that he lunges, and it pairs nicely with some of his abilities that reduce the time of all of your abilities every time you attack as a wolf by 2 seconds. But they decreased his damage bonus from 100% to 75, which I think is right. And the lightning shield, the damage reduced from 36 to 30. That is also correct. I think they did good. The lightning, for those who don't know, lightning, and I don't think it's going to change the meta, to be honest, but lightning shield, the way he builds is essentially the shield will, I can't remember if this one heals you. The shield heals, the shield does damage, the shield shields, and it has a talent where the longer the enemy is in the shield, the more % damage it ramps up. I think it's towards level 16. So if you're a tank standing around Rhaegar for a long time, you're getting wrecked by the shield. It's surprising how much damage that shield can put out. Or if you're standing around anybody, a tank with the shield. It's insane, and there was no choice in that. I don't know if nerfing it, I guess if you take 6 away and you added up all the levels, it does maybe make a difference in the talent choices, but I don't think it's going to. I don't think that's enough. I think they actually have to nerf the talent that adds that multiplies the damage over and over and over again the longer you stand in it. I don't think they need to reduce the actual damage from the base of the shield, in my opinion. But nevertheless, I agree with the basis of these nerfs.
So lastly, we've got Diablo. They're nerfing one of the talents for his W just a little bit. Evidently, he is still too high in the win rate, and they were, again, using a gentle touch, waiting to see how nerfing Tyrande would influence his win rate, and they're not seeing a change. So, again, light touches early on, and then
ironic,
they'll
right?
probably,
They couldn't give him
break
away.
him in half later on. So
They couldn't give him away like when they were doing the deals with Diablo 3 or StarCraft or whatever. Nobody wanted to play him. He had the worst win rate ever, and now he's on the top, man.
Think about it. It's like painting. They have to start out really light, and then they kind of fill in afterward.
and then just stab through.
And then just stab
the canvas
it.
with
Just
the paintbrush.
fucking go nuts. But every outline starts out small.
I won't. And then I believe Janine or Naomi and Wisdom will talk about their leg fetish here, as they do with all heroes that we've had story time with. You always talk about their feet and legs with story time. Don't look at me
Well,
like
because the art's awful. At least generally speaking, and I think it's a funny thing to comment on, coming from the guy who pushes for more comedy in these things. Hands down, our most important bug fix of the patch: Lunar Jaina's legs will no longer separate from her body on endgame score screens.
I'm quitting. I'm done. That's it. Thanks, Blizz.
I think that this is amusing.
But that was so hot.
I actually haven't even seen it happen. It happens at all makes me giggle. And I do think that just about wraps this up here.
Yes. And we want to thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. If you like the art, please check out our wonderful artist link below. And
have a happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. Oh, I didn't buy a gift yet.
We don't do that. He's just kidding. We're actually both working that day, so.
Buy into the corporate holiday.
No. Nope. I will take her on a date when it's not $500 for the menu, and we will enjoy ourselves wonderfully.
Last time it was awful. It was a horrible.
He's been Chemo.
I've been Kinosonics.
She's been Naomi.
I've
been Wisdom. Thank you all for watching. As always, we would love to hear from you. Let us know. Do you like these buffs or nerfs? Do you think they should be more heavy-handed, or do you like the light approach? We want to hear from you guys down below. As always, thank you for watching, and have a good night.
Bye-bye!